just coming back again to the Industrial Revolution, it's very important to understand that management is a social technology. It's also a technology. It's a social technology that we are using to achieve goals with human beings. And there's a very important question that has to be raised, that we developed a certain concept on how to do this in the course of the Industrial Revolution, because before that, you probably all know that before the Industrial Revolution, there were no large enterprises, no large corporations. A large company had 400 employees, and there were only two large organizations, the army and the church, and they were also very decentralized, in fact, and they were, so basically business enterprises were very small. So the concept on how to run a large business enterprise was really developed for and in the Industrial Revolution. But the question here is management as a social technology, is it at the end? Have we solved all the management problems? Can we stop developing this science of management? Or are we just kind of not realizing that we are falling behind? And that we need to make further progress. And just to give you some numbers, we talked with the dean, I talked with the dean before this. In the Industrial Revolution, and the best way to measure this is actually to show the productivity of the farm worker. The average productivity of the farm worker has been increased, depending how you calculate it, by 50 or 100 times in the Industrial Revolution. So today, a farm worker can cultivate land, 100 times more land than a farm worker 150 years ago. That's relatively easy to measure. But on the other hand, if you start to look at the knowledge worker, so this is most of us, well, all of us here are knowledge workers, and most people in the future in our societies that will be creating value will be knowledge workers or knowledge technologists. And they're different. It's actually quite tricky to measure the productivity of knowledge workers, but taking different measures, whatever, you come to the result that the productivity of the knowledge worker has increased only by 5 to 10 times since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. So let's say a lawyer is 5 or 10 times more productive today than he was 100 years or 150 years ago. But that's it. And considering the technologies and how the production and all of this has changed, this is not a lot compared to the 50 to 100 times tenfold improvement. So there's room for improvement. And I would guess, and many would think. And we also have to understand, in order to understand this room for improvement, if you think about for a moment about the hierarchy of human competences.